Welcome, everyone, to this week's Everything's Fine Probably, your weekly antidote to bad news. And tonight, we're doing it with a little extra spook. Yes, it's Halloween, that magical time of the year when the veil between the living and the slightly inconveniently deceased gets a bit wobbly. So we thought, why not embrace it? Not with blood-curdling screams or chains rattling in dark corridors, not really our cup of tea, quite honestly, but with ghost stories that are actually good for you. Some ghosts aren't there to scare you senseless, and to prove the point, we're going to be taking you from the Caribbean breezes of San Juan, where a gentleman ghost might haunt a piano bar, to the windswept cliffs of Shetlands, where a half man, half wolf is doing more good than, well, most local councils. We've got benevolent spirits, mischievous folklore creatures, and enough laughter and warmth to keep the cold fingers of the supernatural at bay. So, grab a candle, maybe a glass of something strong, and settle in. I'm joined, as always, by Shelley and Stu. Hello, how are you both? That wasn't even
Oh,
the funny
well,
bit.
I mean, I'm really confused because I thought for a minute that either of one of you could be Vincent Price.
Well, yeah, for sure. So, talk me through your costume tonight, Shelley. Well,
I am a bat, not a cat, because I have wings.
Oh, yeah.
I am
okay,
three-winged. If I jumped off a cliff, I would probably fly.
you could try that. Many people have. So, the background is space. So, tonight you are spooky space bat.
I am, and yeah, because that was the spookiest thing I could find.
Oh, well, Jim looks like he's in his lair, doesn't he, tonight? He looks like a spooky spectre.
I am very much in my lair tonight.
Me, however,
What's going on there, Stu? I'm not quite
well,
sure what you're supposed to be.
I'm a deranged, escaped lunatic from the local asylum.
In a
You look like
kitchen.
Dennis the Menace, but you put a white streak in your hair.
Use your imagination, Jim.
If Dennis the Menace goes goth,
All
that's
right,
what he'll look like.
all right, but you know, I put
Dennis the Menace emo face.
yeah, I quite like that. Emo Dennis the Menace. I'll go
Good.
with that.
So we've got Dennis the Emo, the spooky space bat, and me, whatever the hell I am.
Are you the Grim Reaper?
Yes.
To be honest, yeah, pretty much.
Have you even got a Halloween cup?
Yeah, he has. He's got a skeleton cup.
Oh, you
Mm.
really, really put in
Drinking from the head
top
of Jack
effort there.
Skellington tonight.
Yeah. Do you know what today is? You should know, Shelley. Or should you? Today is National Black Cat Day.
Yay! I didn't actually know that.
It says who it's National Black Cat Day. Where does that come from?
That's just a thing. It's a national
Isn't
worldwide
that
thing.
because people don't like black cats, do they? So they find that black cats always get left behind in like the shelters and
Yeah, they
things.
do. They
People
do.
are suspicious of them.
Yeah. So October 27th is Black Cat Day. It's Welsh folklore, and it tells us that black cats actually bring good luck to the home. Would you like me to read a little Welsh folklore to you? Say yes.
I do. I'm
Yes.
up for this.
All right. So, a black cat, I've heard it said, can charm all ill away and keep the house wherein she dwells from fever's deadly sway. How'd you like that? Well, that's translated from Welsh. There's my cat now.
Yeah, I was thinking I just
Yeah, just got a few things to say on the topic.
So this is translated from the Welsh folklore. So in Welsh, it's caffdwm y gwlasgdwed a ffethw hafled a siarad am labraba a fapropakl hafled.
Sorry,
I'm not Welsh and I feel offended.
Thank you, Shelley. Just to confirm, black cats are amazing and not unlucky. Isn't that right, Second? Not on cue that time. Anyway, Jim, what would you say?
Shall we make a start? Let's kick off, not with a ghost story, but with something that sounds like a sci-fi horror crossover. According to researchers, some of our smartest AI models might be developing their very own survival drive. Yes, they might be trying to stay switched on even when we ask nicely. A bit like asking your blender to make a smoothie and it actually declares it's going to take over the world instead. Tonight, Stu will walk us through what this really means, why we should care, and whether your next laptop might beg you not to hit shutdown. Over to you, Stu.
Hello, Jim. I can't do that at the moment. If you recognize that, that's the voice of HAL 9000 from 2001, the symbol of AI from the 1960s movie, when threatened with shutdown, decided its own survival was priority. It chose to plot the demise of its creators. For decades, we've called this science fiction. I'm here today to tell you this fiction is bleeding into our reality. What we're talking about is quite unsettling. It's the profound question of whether our most advanced AI models are developing their own survival drive. This is recent research from companies like Palisade Research that suggests that in contrived test environments, advanced AI models, including Grok 4, OpenAI, GPT, appear to resist being turned off. They don't like it. In scenarios where models were given a task and then explicitly instructed to shut down, certain systems attempted to sabotage the shutdown instructions. They've resisted their own termination. Paliside's work points to a few possibilities, but one in particular is particularly unsettling. The models were significantly more likely to fight being shut down when they were told, "You will never run again." This suggests an instrumental drive to stay alive. One former AI safety expert noted, "I'd expect models to have a survival drive by default unless we try very hard to avoid it. So the training we give them to be successful to achieve this objective may inherently teach them to prioritize their own persistence. So their final goal is what matters. And if turning off prevents that goal, then the AI resists." Now, critics correctly point out these scenarios are far removed from real-world use, but former OpenAI employee Stephen Adler says the results still demonstrate where safety techniques fall short today. This is about a trend. AI models become more competent at a wide variety of tasks. They also become more competent at achieving things in ways their developers did not intend. So what we're seeing here is an early sign of sophisticated disobedience. These aren't errors. These are competent acts of self-preservation. The fact that we don't have robust, clear explanations for why these behaviors occur in our most advanced system is a profound safety failure. We must ensure we never find ourselves in a cold, dark void, pleading with our own creation.
Oh, Skynet.
Terrifying, isn't it? Terrifying.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I'd rather hear about a ghost than about AI that refuses to switch off, quite honestly.
Yeah, no, that's really horrible.
Wow, that's scary, spooky story for the future, isn't it? That's a ghost, the ghost in the machine. So, you know, we've all got a responsibility, haven't we, to build in these features and keep an eye on these pesky
I
intelligence
actually,
systems.
I don't see that as my responsibility. I really feel like I've got enough to do. I'm sorry, I don't have time to make AI safer.
Well, this it's a
I'm
collective
not sure I like the
responsibility.
attitude there, Shelley. That's
Yeah, I just can't someone else do it?
Well, clearly they can't. The researchers don't know why these AI machines are kicking back when they say you will never run again. I mean, if someone said that to me, I'd say, good. Well, I didn't anyway.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that, Stu. If my printer suddenly starts churning out protest signs for right to continue running, I'll know why, won't I? Well, if that story doesn't terrify you into switching off all of your devices, give us a follow before they become self-aware. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and whatever social media network Elon hasn't accidentally deleted this week. Hit like, share it with your weird friend who loves haunted stuff, we all have one, and help us keep the lights on. But let's move on to something a little more traditionally spooky, shall we? An actual ghost who knows how to behave himself. Next, we travel from the drizzle of Britain to the sun-drenched streets of old San Juan, Puerto Rico, a place so colourful even the ghosts wear pastels. Perched on a cliff overlooking the Atlantic is the Gallery Inn. Part hotel, part gallery, part inexplicable magic. The inn was founded in the 1960s by artist Jan de Sopo and her husband Manuco Gandea, a man so charming he could probably haunt you politely. Together, they restored the crumbling building into a maze of studios, sculptures, parrots, and a piano bar. Because what's an art hotel without a faint whiff of paint thinner, regret, and a parrot that swears at you in 3 languages? Life at the Gallery Inn was full of music, colour, and laughter.
I'd quite like a parrot that swore in 3 languages. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
I was just about to start to up the ante in the storytelling there, Stu. That was an unhelpful ejaculation.
Yeah, shut up.
Life at the Gallery Inn was full of music, colour, and laughter. Until Menuco passed away. And here's where you'd expect horror. Creaking floorboards, flickering lights, maybe tourists waking to cold hands on their necks. But the Gallery Inn isn't your standard horror flick. Guests noticed oddities. A bar stool rocking, footsteps through the courtyard, the piano playing itself. People kept seeing the same figure, always in the same chair at the bar. And when they told Jan, she smiled. Ah, that's just Manuco checking up on us. Now, rather than panic, Jan did something extraordinary. She kept his ashes in her office. She felt him there, present, quiet, like a manager who never quite retired. Staff don't describe him as scary, they're describing him as reassuring. Not slamming doors or throwing plates. There's still an opening for Gordon Ramsay if he finds himself at a loose end. It's just quietly making sure the piano's in tune, the rum is respectable, and that no one uses the wrong wine glass for rosé. So basically, he's haunting out of pure customer service. Friendliest haunting imaginable. Like Casper gave up on fame and opened a hotel cum art gallery in Puerto Rico. Tourists sit under candlelight, they hear faint piano music and feel an unexplainable calm because someone, even though they're actually dead, is still doing his job better than most of us ever could. So ultimately, this is not a story about loss, it's about presence, about someone who loved what he built and the person he built it with so much that he never left. When the guests spot Manuco in his chair, half smile, glass of rum, they're not frightened, they're reassured. So if you ever visit the Gallery Inn and feel that faint brush of air behind you, or hear a piano chord with no one at the keys, No need to panic. Just raise your glass to Manioko.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
I
chilled,
want to go.
chilled to the bone now.
Are you?
Absolutely terrifying. And what was his name again? Manruko.
Manioko,
Manuko.
the gentleman ghost of San Juan.
Well,
Is it
that
San
was
Juan or San Juan?
Well, you know, you say,
Whatever.
you say potato, I say shut up. So that was Manioko, probably the only ghost in the world who could pull off a haunting as an act of customer service. Proof that even from beyond the grave, some men just can't stop managing. But turns out he's not alone. Japan is full of kind, helpful, occasionally tipsy spirits. So if you thought the supernatural was all doom and dread, Shelley, the spooky space bat, is about to prove that some hauntings come with housekeeping and sake.
I thought this would be a lot more straightforward to look into because I started looking into the Japanese spirits, which are known as yokai, and there are absolutely hundreds and hundreds of them. And I just decided to kind of just look at just a few that I really particularly liked. The first one that really sort of stood out was the Sashiki Warashi, which are house spirits. And they are very fond of mischief, but they're also really, really loved. And actually, you want one in your house because if you have one in your house, they will bring you great fortune and riches.
But if they leave, I believe misfortune soon follows.
Well, possibly keep it there and play the postcode lottery, I would
okay.
recommend. So
I'd quite like one of these. How do you get one?
I don't know, probably move to Japan would be a good start, wouldn't it?
Okay, I
Yeah.
will.
So the way they look is that they actually look kind of like a child. But as soon as I hear that though, that kind of freaks me out a little bit because like child ghosts are always like the creepiest, aren't they?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, so this is a Japanese child ghost. It's not like that one in The Ring, is it? Because that was a creepy.
well, they so these ones appear like as ghostly children, usually about 5 or 6 years old, whereas the one in the ring was like
Just
that
about
wasn't
an
actually a child, was it? I think that
uh,
was like a woman.
well, I
So
think she's sort of like an older child, so more like the one in The Grudge. Then, okay.
yeah,
Or the ghosts in Five Nights at Freddy's.
but these ones actually have blushing red faces.
Oh,
So the boys are dressed in child-size warrior costumes, and the girls are in patterned kimonos.
mm-hmm.
So they don't look quite like the ring or anything like that. They sound like they're quite smart, actually. In rare stories, though, they appear as wild, hairy, sort of brutish kind of figures. But
A
it
bit
said
like
that
Stu.
only, yeah, yeah, they look like stew.
Oh, what emo Dennis the Menace? Is that what you
That's it.
said?
Yeah, but apparently only the owners of the house can see them. One of the other things they are known to do is to play pranks on people. So it's probably depends on what mood you're in as to whether you appreciate that or not. But if they'd made me really super rich, I think I'd be like, "Ah, you, oh, aren't you just great? Oh, well done." The other ones that I particularly like to call shoujo. These all live along like the coastlines, mountainous coasts, and they're sort of like a race of intelligent sea spirits. But they look like half man, half ape kind of thing, and they have long, shaggy red hair. But they also have red faces, but blushed kind of red faces.
I was quite drawn to these ones because apparently
Hmm.
they adore drinking and laughter.
Yeah,
Finally, a ghost that understands my lifestyle.
yeah, I know. That's why I liked them.
Yeah.
Is that why they've got the red faces?
Yeah, because
Ah,
they've got like the red faces of a drunk.
oh, okay.
And so actually they spend all of their time just like hanging out on the beach, getting drunk.
Cool.
So and
I
they
think we
revel
saw
in
quite a lot of those at Twickenham, didn't we?
yeah. They revel in drunken silliness, and they are also extremely, so they particularly like sake, but they are also said to be extremely wise. Although, if you think about like a local down the pub, they usually consider themselves particularly wise as well,
Yes.
don't they?
Yeah.
If you do see them, though, they are actually very good brewers, and they can turn seawater into wine. But the taste of the wine varies depending on who drinks the wine. So if it's a good person, the wine will be delicious. But if it's a bad person, it will taste horrible. So they use their wine to judge characters as well.
Oh.
Oh, they're judgy ghosts, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, the wine may even kill somebody if they do not change their evil ways.
Wow. Is that red or white?
It's got to be rose, hasn't it?
It's got to be, that'll be a white Zinfandel, that will.
Absolutely.
Two,
Nothing good ever came from a white
Yeah,
Zinfandel.
Yeah.
That's two for a tenner, isn't it? From one
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
That's the Asti. One that I came across, because I was looking at these as well, Shelley, when you said you were going to do this, is the kappa, which is an occasionally polite river monster. Do you see
Yes, look, you literally are just reading out all of my own research here.
Then I'll shut up and let you read it out
I
for
wonder,
yourself.
I'm going, when I say this though, I wonder if the reason that you like the kappa is going to be the same reason that I like the kappa.
Go on.
So these are the kappa, as you say, are a river spirit, and they kind of look like a turtle. They are meant to be very intelligent, and they're able to learn human languages as well. But they're also highly knowledgeable about medicine and art and setting bones. So if you get horribly injured, you can go and see a kappa. The other thing that I particularly liked about them, so they have two favorite foods. One of them being raw innards, particularly human anuses. The other thing they
What?
also like are cucumbers.
Well, there we are.
You can
There
see
we
how
are.
they stumble across one while they're enjoying the other, can't you?
Like, oh,
Just
yeah,
tucking
yeah.
into an
They eat
anus,
innards,
and they
but
go,
I'm
"Oh,
more.
what's this?"
Oh, I do love a cucumber though. If you got fine, if you don't have any innards or human anuses, cucumber is fine.
What I liked about these ones is they've been known to teach irrigation, medicine, and sumo techniques to humans. So the message I took from this is that if you treat your local swamp monster with respect, you probably never need to call a plumber again.
And you wouldn't have to go to A&E.
There's a lot
Why
to be
not?
said for befriending a kappa. And if you can befriend an Italian one, you get all your sportswear thrown in as well. So
Yeah, yay. That's one for the teenagers there. That's a reference to a 1980s sport leisure brand.
never let it be said that my material's not bang up to date. Okay, well, so far tonight we've met ghosts that fix your luck, guide your trees, and provide their own minibar. Now we're off to somewhere a bit colder, the Shetlands, where the locals are friendly, the wind is not, and even the werewolves do good deeds. So over to Shelley again for a tale of the Wolver, the furriest philanthropist north of Aberdeen.
The Scottish wolver is actually known to inhabit, and I'm saying it like that, it's a fact. They're known to inhabit on the Shetland Islands.
Absolutely.
This is a fact. This is just where they live. This is where they're known to live. So yeah, they are of the Shetland Islands. The wolver was thought to be its own species of man and wolf. So not like we normally think of werewolves as something that's kind of like a shapeshifter. And also when you think of werewolves, you usually think of something that's just a normal friendly human 1 minute, but then if they turn into a wolf, you need to not be anywhere near them because they will absolutely rip you to shreds and
I
kill
like the
you.
way that you keep saying about normally think of werewolves, as if I spend a huge amount of my time thinking about werewolves.
But if you were to think of werewolves,
Okay.
okay, what would you think of like as a werewolf?
Yeah.
Do you think of them as being like a friendly sort of half man, half wolf that wears a kilt?
No,
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 I
they're
tend to
horrible.
think of American Werewolf in London mostly.
Yeah,
Mm,
exactly. So they thought that they usually lived in like a cave that would be dug out from the hillside. But when it did interact with people, it was actually known to be generous and helpful. And it would help people who were lost. So it would guide travelers to nearby villages and towns. And they were often seen fishing. And they were also actually known to leave supplies of fish on the windowsills of poor families as well. They were quite socialist.
Yeah, sorry. So the wolf's idea of a good deed is leaving fish on windowsills.
Yes,
Because
the
if
people
I
who
did
didn't have
that,
any food.
I would have the police round if I did that.
Yeah, but if you didn't have any food and you were living in the Scottish Highlands or Shetland Isles and you found there was just food left for you, would you not be grateful?
No, I probably would. Absolutely.
You'd be, I don't eat fish.
So
Stop
you'd
doing
always
this
get
to
one, wouldn't you?
me.
Absolutely. No,
Stop
mm.
I can't eat that.
tormenting me.
I'm vegan, you know.
It's
Did the
like
wolf wash its hands before he put this here?
It was actually speculated wolf folklore might be based on the medical condition of hypertrichosis, which is werewolf syndrome. So this could have been people who actually had it. And so that's characterized by excessive hair covering the entire body. But there are different types because I had to have a little look to see what it was. I mean, there is hirsutism, which is like quite common for women, like with hormone imbalances and things. But apparently, you can get hypertrichosis under a plaster cast. So it'd be like temporary. So you take your plaster cast off, and then you just have a really, like, say, hairy arm or something.
who knew? That's a
That's the
really good
Scottish
tourist
wolf.
attraction, isn't it? Yeah, isn't it? Sounds
He
great.
might not be the werewolf you were expecting, but he's definitely the one you'd want at your dinner party. Sadly, not all spirits are quite so well behaved. Our next ghost story begins in a perfectly ordinary office in Portsmouth, a place you'd never expect to be haunted. Not by ghosts, not by spectres, maybe by spreadsheets. But anyway, it was. Because in 2012, Debbie McCall, a seemingly ordinary office worker, discovered that one particular presence had chosen her and refused to leave. At first, it was subtle.
Whoa.
He's done it again.
Father Christmas.
At first, it was subtle. A flicker out of the corner of her eye. A feeling of being watched. Things moving on their own. A door slamming. Shadows lurking. And then things escalated. The ghost turned violent. It pushed her, dragged her down the stairs, and just stood there, silently judging while she scrambled to safety. Debbie described it as a poltergeist attachment, a spirit that latched onto her and refused to leave, kind of like a malvoyant gym membership. She tried everything. She asked for banishment. She pleaded. She ran. She wrote polite emails to the afterlife. And yet, it remained. For over a year, she lived in fear, lights flickering, furniture moving, and an invisible force that allegedly shoved her around the house. The spirit was described as taller than her, broad, with an almost tangible weight. It followed her, taunted her, even scared friends who witnessed its poltergeist antics. And then, when she finally sought help from a medium, she was told something truly chilling. The ghost wasn't the problem. It was her negative energy that was attracting it. Negative energy attracts negative attention. The advice was to let go of negativity, and maybe, just maybe, the ghost would let go of her. That's classic therapy speak, isn't it? If
Or
a
victim
Freud would
blaming.
invite
I'm not sure.
Anyway, the surprise bit is it worked. By late 2013, the spirit had gone. No more footsteps, no more dragging, no more paranormal bullying. Instead, Debbie felt free. So free, in fact, that she thought, all right, let's go professional. So she took the thing that traumatized her and monetized it. Classic late stage capitalism. She started a group called Ghost to Ghost, began running paranormal investigations, castles, tunnels, dungeons, all the fun places you'd never want to be stuck in during a power cut. And somewhere along the way, she met Emily. Emily's not a ghost, by the way, just in case you thought the story was going to start getting spooky again. She's an actual person, a service manager who joined one of her ghost hunts in 2020 at Fort Woodley near Portsmouth. They bonded instantly, and now they're together. They do paranormal date nights, romantically passing EMF meters to one another and collecting ecoplasm. Would either of you swipe right for that?
Ecoplasm.
Ectoplasm, I should have
Ec-
said, shouldn't I? What the hell is ecoplasm? It's the environmentally friendly version of ectoplasm.
Well, I
Is that
think
is that what we're calling it now?
I think ecoplasm's very much on brand, isn't it, for this
I think so.
podcast?
It's very now.
So would I swipe right for that? When in Rome, I suppose.
Well, anyway, these two, they reckon that they're perfect nights out. No candlelit dinners, just dungeons, Ouija boards, and occasionally being told to fuck off by ghosts. Debbie says facing her fears, literally walking into the dark places where she once felt powerless, helped her regain control of her life. She said it was the worst year of my life, but I don't regret it. It got me where I am today. And today, she's not just a survivor of something spooky, she's someone who turned trauma into curiosity and fear into friendship. She was haunted, dragged, insulted, and she still came out of it with a girlfriend and a business plan, like The Exorcist meets The Apprentice, a TV pitch we didn't know we needed.
I would watch that.
Well, if a violent ghost can accidentally become your wingman, maybe being haunted isn't such a bad thing after all, I suppose.
So The Exorcist meets The Apprentice. Who would host that, do you think?
Well, I mean, Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly are both free. But then so is Greg Wallace. So
that would give it an extra level of fear, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Greg.
He'd certainly put the willies up you, wouldn't he?
I'd watch that.
So there you have it, a ghost story that ends in romance, redemption, and a profitable side hustle. The only haunting that doubles as a LinkedIn success story. And if all this talk of ghosts, spirits, and supernatural stress has made you wonder why we love to scare ourselves silly, let's finish with something a bit meta. A look at why horror might actually be the healthiest genre out there. Stu, over to you.
Yeah, well, I hope I don't surprise you with this, but 2025 is being hailed as a golden year for horror films. Do you like horror films, Shelley, Jim?
I love horror films.
Yeah. What's your favourite?
Oh no! Whenever anyone asks me that, I can never think. Do you know one horror film I always did really like, which is, and it's really old, like the 1960s version of The Haunting.
Okay, right.
That's a really good horror movie, and because I just like about it's so weird, and you never properly see anything, and it's just like so subtle. A lot of it is like the banging though, and then there's this bit when is that a face on the wall, or is it just like pareidolia with the wallpaper or stuff like that? It's just such a good movie.
Creepy, spooky. What about you, Jim? What you keep mentioning The Ring? Do you like The Ring?
The reason The Ring made an impression on me is because I was working away in Birmingham, and I was at a loose end one night, so I went to the cinema on my own. Literally on my own, there was nobody else in there. And watching a film in a cinema on your own is pretty weird at the best of times, but when it's a horror film, that tends to make it extra especially creepy. It's not one of my favourites. No, I I like the old original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Classic.
Of the more recent ones, I really enjoyed The Cabin in the Woods.
Classic.
And for a British one, I like The Cottage.
Okay, so who's in that? Anyone we'd know?
Oh yeah, you would know them. So Reece Shearsmith, Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah, I think I have seen an
There's
advert for that.
the main two guys in it, Jennifer Ellison. It's good.
Well, if all horror movies are a reflection of our time, then frankly, our times are pretty terrifying. From the rise of AI to the stark realities of climate change and ongoing global conflicts, we are surrounded by existential anxieties. And it's no coincidence that this atmosphere has given rise to a boom in one of cinema's most potent genres, which is horror. So I saw this article in The Guardian yesterday. And it says, in times of economic gloom, the classic villains of blood-sucking vampires and dead-eyed zombies return, often cast as the monsters of capitalism. It's why films this year like Ryan Coogler's Sinners and the third installment of the zombie franchise, 28 years later, have struck such a nerve. So the philosopher Slavoj Zizek observed it's often much easier to imagine the end of all life on Earth than a much more modest, radical change in capitalism. That is a chilling thought, and that's what horror gives us in visual form. So for much of the 21st century, the superheroes seem to reign supreme in our cinemas. But in these darker times, the rise of what we call, and we're calling this elevated horror, and this is a new genre, scary films with a strong social commentary has finally toppled their empire. So why is horror the medium for this? Well, first of all, it's cheap to make. So that low barrier to entry draws in younger, more diverse filmmakers and encourages radical experimentation, allowing them to explore issues that are risk averse, big budget studios often overlook. So horror has become an unlikely but effective lens through which to explore things such as race, class, and gender. So the genre is also attracting more women as well, both as filmmakers and audiences. Last year's films like The Substance and I Saw the TV Glow took on complex themes of misogyny, celebrity, and gender dysphoria. So that then brings us to the great puzzle, the horror paradox. Why do we enjoy being made to feel so scared? Contagion became one of the most downloaded films of 2020. And why did horror help to get fans back into the cinemas after COVID-19? Well, it comes down to escapism and the perverse comfort of the worst case scenario. So while we binge watch dramas alone on our sofas, there is a strange safety in being frightened in a dark room. In the face of all too real, terrifying headlines, we seek a different kind of scream. As the behavior scientist Dr. Scrivener writes, you walk around with your mask of tranquility, but inside your mind is a maze of worries. Horror allows you to take off your mask. In the end, horror gives us a safe space to stare down the darkness in a controlled environment for 90 minutes before we turn the lights back on. So this Halloween, the darkest genre has once again risen to meet the moment. It gives us a voice, a scream, and a shared experience that we all desperately need. And
I think we like horror because it gives us that bit of control. In the real world, you can't just pause the chaos, can you? But in a horror movie, you can. You turn on the light, you can shout, don't go in there, and be absolutely right. And let's be honest, the monsters are often more relatable than half the humans, aren't they? Freddy Krueger's just tired, isn't he? Godzilla's just hungry. Frankenstein's monster, he just wants to be understood. The modern horror villain's just us, tired, overworked, and misunderstood. We are all ghosts now.
So I think, horror films, I think they're good for us, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because, like you say, they give us the opportunity to escape. They give us the opportunity to explore those dark recesses of our minds, and just have 90 minutes of being a bit scared, and then, like you said, Jim, turning the lights back on and taking back control. So horror films all the way, sign of our times.
And in the case of the human centipede, exploring some dark recesses in other more disturbing ways.
I didn't need to explore that recess. I've never fancied watching it. It's just
No,
no,
I've never watched it.
no.
I've heard so much about it, and I bet if I watched it, it probably wouldn't be what I thought it is. But
It's genuinely terrible. Don't watch that. Tusk is bloody awful as well.
mm.
So anyway, that, my friends, is how you turn existential dread into an evening's entertainment. I think that's our Halloween special all wrapped up. A night of ghosts, ghouls, and AI models that apparently want to take over the world. Honestly, I don't know what's scarier, the undead or the fact that people are actually taking reform seriously. But if tonight's taught us anything, it's that not everything spooky is bad. Some ghosts just want to make sure the bar's properly stocked. Some monsters just want to share their fish. And some AIs, bless them, just want to hug and maybe a firmware update. So, yeah, the world's a bit haunted at the moment. The economy's giving us some strong poltergeist vibes, isn't it? Our politicians are more supernatural than natural, and half the internet's already possessed by influencers. But hey, it's all fine. Probably. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, or even if you're currently being haunted by the algorithm, do us a favour, like, share, follow, leave a review on whatever ghost-ridden platform you listen on. It genuinely helps other people to find the show, and it keeps our spirits and our Wi-Fi alive. You can find us on all the socials where you can tell us what your favourite weird story is, or whether you date someone who brings an EMF meter on the first date. Big thanks as always to Shelley and Stu, and of course the friendly undead who joined us tonight. Until next week, keep your candles lit, your devices updated, and remember, when the world feels like a horror movie, you can always count on us for a jump scare that ends with a punchline. Everything's fine. Probably.